Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Daily Healing Journal, where I'm sharing my healing journey in real time with you guys and all of the things that I've gone through in therapy and self reflection that have helped me get to a better place. So, today I want to talk about how when we're silent, there's good and bad to this, and it's all about the timing of it for you and not for anyone else, okay? And this is something that can feel a little confusing, especially after being in abusive relationships. And I have struggled with this because of the nature of my career and the conditioning of what I was taught as a little kid, just be quiet. I know I've talked about that a lot in the last couple of videos, and that's because that's what I'm currently going through. I was raised by people that were raised in a generation where you were not supposed to talk about personal problems. Well, I have news for you. It's 2025, and the new thing is people wanting to get healthy and be honest and truthful. So if you don't like it, go watch something fake. On that note, I have to stand strong because no matter who it is, no matter what it is, how many people do you think stayed silent? I'm going to bring my glasses down for this again. How about when women wanted to vote? Do you think that silence was going to get women to be able to vote in the United States of America? No. Carrying on. I am so serious about this because it's easy to feel intimidated. And if you're being intimidated or judged by people that you love, or people that you thought you trusted, or people that you thought would be in your corner, and they're not showing that love to you right now, don't assume they don't love you, but assume that you're doing what's best for you. If you're choosing to stay silent, that's fine. If you're choosing to speak out about it, that's fine. If you're choosing to go to therapy, and you've decided a certain type of therapy works for you, then that's what you need to do. Don't listen to all the flying monkeys. Don't listen to all the opinions of anyone, even if they love you. These people probably think that they're giving you nurturing and loving advice. The problem with this is they haven't been through what you've gone through. And even if they have, it's extremely important to know that if they're telling you to be quiet, that means they haven't learned how to deal with trauma. That means that they think their way of handling things is what works. And you know what? Maybe that works for them, but we all are on a different path. So if you're staying silent and you have this urge of wanting to come out and be honest, even if that means that it's just with a therapist, you need to do that. The hard part here is that a lot of people are not going to believe you, because when you come and you're finally honest about the abuse, you spent so much time trying to cover up for these people. I've done this my whole life with people, that you become almost paralyzed when it's time to be honest. I am going out there and doing this for all of us. Okay. And I am not here to point one person out. Sadly, I hate to admit, there are a lot of people in my life that have abused me, and I kept quiet about it my entire life. So I'm standing here as an advocate for all of us, and whether the opinions of other people change what I do or not. In the past, I'm done doing that. I'm done doing that. And this new version of me is intimidating to people who saw me as a certain way that fit a narrative they had in their minds, okay? And so when we decide to stay silent, there are times for this, okay? And like I've said before, you don't have to do what I'm doing. I'm here to share with you guys what I've done behind the scenes that has helped me. And that's why I'm here sharing this, because I think that we need more support when it comes to this kind of abuse. I think that it is a huge growing problem in the world, and it is a threat to humanity, and it is a threat to women. It's a threat to men. It's a threat to all people. All people have suffered this kind of abuse, and it needs to stop. The awareness is key. I am here for awareness. So if you have been living in silence and you've been covering up for this person, and you've been tricked and fooled into thinking that they're going to change and then they're going to come back and all the promises that they made are going to come to fruition, and they haven't, and you are heartbroken, hang in there. You're not alone. A lot of people have asked me recently, is it normal for narcissists to play your family and friends against you? Oh, welcome to Key West. Here they come on in. Looks like it was a private jet. Yes, sadly, this is normal. And what they do is they do these tactics behind your back for a very long time. And that way, when you freak out and you finally break your silence, you look like the crazy one. Okay? And I said this in the last video where, you might be tormented mentally by all the secrets that you kept, right? And then you thought, gosh, now I need to be honest with my people, and now I look like the overreactive insane person because we also lied for these people so that other people liked them and tolerated them with us because we didn't want to be embarrassed by their mistakes and their nasty behavior. I've been playing these little games with these types of people my entire life. So these are things that I'm currently working through. And I had to make some really tough decisions recently in my life. And I have to say that with every tough decision, I am brought more peace, despite what any of these people think. Okay. I have my moments. I'm a human being, right? But I'm happy. I'm excited for this new chapter in my life. It wasn't always that way. I was stuck in bed. I couldn't even walk. I was so hurt. I was so hurt. And I felt so played when, some of these people would use these really strange statements like, yeah, we know that there's something wrong with you and you need to get help. Okay. Totally forgetting their own behavior. And then it's really easy for people to get manipulated by these others. So, especially when we're staying in silence. So, don't feel too terrible and too down on yourself. Okay. Because most likely, if you're watching these videos and you're here to heal, not here to spy on me, I see you. If you're here to heal, chances are you understand what I'm talking about. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, these videos aren't for you and you should move on and watch something else. Otherwise, maybe you're just here to learn just to make sure you don't get hurt, and that's fine too. But these videos are for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is for my healing and sharing what I've learned in therapy and in reading a lot of books, going to Al Anon meetings, all kinds of stuff. Okay. And I know that a lot of people don't have the resources to get some of this help. I don't even want to tell you the amount of hard earned money that I had saved to my mental health. And I feel it's important for me to share this information for free with you guys in this stage of my life because I would have given anything to have this information when I was so desperate and in despair and confused and gaslit and lied to and manipulated and abused physically and mentally. While these people can go around and say that I'm crazy and it never happened, well, sorry, but it's been documented. It's there. I don't need to continue to fight for myself, and I'm tired of explaining myself to certain loved ones, right? And some of these people don't even speak to me anymore, over and over and over again to try to explain myself. Meanwhile, it was too late. They had already been convinced of a different story. And guess what? You don't need those people in your life if that's what they're doing to you. Sometimes these people think they're doing the right thing, like I said at the beginning of the video, and they're not. They're not doing the right thing, but they're doing the right thing for them, whatever that is. And that might make us sad and that might upset us, but it is what it is. And again, it doesn't mean that you have to not love these people or push these people out of your life. But when you're going through a healing journey, it's very hard for people to understand who haven't done that, especially people who haven't done that in decades. Okay, the world's a different place now, and the world's becoming more evil, and it's because people are forgetting to be self reflective. And if you have a friend or a family member that is going through a reflective journey of healing, don't put them down. Don't put them down, okay? If you're somebody that's watching this from that perspective, please don't put these people down because we're trying to get on our own 2 feet again. We're trying to be strong again, and we are learning about who we were meant to be in the first place before we were knocked down, before we overtrusted the wrong people too many times. Give us a chance. We're like a little baby deer, all right? And for those of you that are listening and watching that are the baby deer, you're doing a good job. If nobody's told you today, I'm telling you right now, just being here and just connecting through these videos is doing something for yourself. And I hope that I can give to you a little bit of love and a huge digital hug through the internet today. And just know I was the person stuck in bed with not even hardly being able to breathe. I could barely take a bite out of a cookie. Okay. I couldn't walk to the bathroom barely without it feeling overwhelming. It took me therapy and choosing myself over all of it, over all of it. If there were people in my life that were wanting me to stay silent, those people can go bye bye. Okay. I've never been a silent person, but I've always stayed silent in certain areas of my personal life out of respect for the abusers that were making me stay silent since I was a child. Okay? Because I was intimidated. I was intimidated by what could happen, what would happen, and it reminded me of getting in trouble as a kid. Guess what? We're not here to single anyone out. People go through relationships. There are podcasts, there are books, there are TV shows, there are plays, there are songs, there are all kinds of things. There's art painted on ancient stones that are telling truthful stories. And if people hadn't done that, humanity can't grow and evolve. And so it's okay to be the person telling the stories that are true. It is okay to be the person reading the stories and healing through the stories that are true. It is not okay to be the person spreading stories that aren't true. It is not okay to be the person who is encouraging the people who are speaking about their truth to be silent. That is ridiculous. And I'm going to say it again. How many people wouldn't have as many rights? Welcome to Key West. How many people out there wouldn't have as many rights as they have if people didn't stand up? Okay? A lot of older generations don't understand that this is such a problem because they're stuck in the generation that they were raised by and think that is the only way to be. I like balance. I believe in the truth. I believe in good morals. I believe that people can make mistakes and we constantly are evolving, hopefully, into better people. And if people put pause on that because they grew up and they reach their 30s or 40s and they think they know everything, I have news for you. It's a constant learning process. And to think that some people think that they have the right to tell other people what to do when they're telling their story, whether they think they're protecting them or not, is a strange and invalid way to be. It just is. The advice that you're going to give to somebody personally is not necessarily the advice that they need, nor is it your place to do so unless they ask. Now, that's why I love these videos because I can put this stuff out there and the people who want to hear it can find it. The people that are looking for it can find it. And the people that aren't looking for it, if you are here still watching this, spying on me, hey, I don't know why you're still here. Why are you still here? Just put the block check mark next to my name or something. It's really strange. But again, because I'm speaking up about narcissistic abuse, there's a lot of flying monkeys, and that explains a lot of the hatred. Now, there was a person that commented on one of my posts, and this doesn't happen often, but somebody commented and said, why are you doing that publicly? Seems like you're just asking for attention. Well, sort of. I'm asking for awareness on a problem that I think is a global problem, and I'm very passionate about it because I've lived in silence my whole life, and I nearly lost my life living in silence over this exact problem. So if you disagree with it, that's fine, but this channel's not for you. So, unless you're open to being educated about narcissistic abuse and how I personally have gotten through it, narcissistic abuse is extremely predictable. Unfortunately, I learned about this a little too late, but now that I'm in the healing journey, I'm learning how many, not hundreds, not thousands, but millions of people are out there suffering with the same problems, and they're not sure what to do because the psychological effects of staying silent through narcissistic abuse is so bad. No matter what side of the coin you're on, I'm here for you to be right here in the center, in the middle. And I also want to offer a little bit of advice when you get that anxiety of, Like you wish the rest of the world could understand, but you don't want to throw that person under the bus, right? Because all of us are good people, okay? Let's just be honest. We're the empaths that got in the way of a narcissistic abusive relationship because we cared and we cared and we cared and we cared so much that we lost ourselves in this. And a lot of times they'll do this breadcrumbing effect where they look like a prince or a princess. They look like someone who would be perfect. And by the way, that's how a lot of people see them. Or they see them as like just a spoiled child, but they don't mean any harm. Sometimes these are the most harmful ones because they look like a certain image and they act a certain way, but behind closed doors, they are not that. Okay. And it can feel strange to film someone or take pictures or take a diary or press a record note when someone's acting out, and you start to feel crazy because you are starting to go crazy because this type of abuse and breadcrumbing does damage to your brain. It does damage to the neural pathways in your brain. Neuroscience proves this. I'm not going to go deep into it because it's not my place here on YouTube, but I'm going to tell you right now that there's a lot of people out there that talk about this. And I'm going to tell you again, look up Dr. Ramani. Okay. She's amazing. She's absolutely stunning when it comes to how she delivers this information. You feel like she's talking to your soul. She's an amazing, amazing woman. You got to check her channel out if you are suffering from narcissistic abuse. So if you feel alone and you're in silence, don't worry. This is a safe community. I delete all the comments that are nasty and mean. And if you want to share your story, you're welcome to do that here. And also, if there's any bullying going on in your life, or you have people that you know love you, but they're giving you advice to just stay silent, it's okay. You know what? If it feels right for you to stay silent, then stay silent. But if you are apprehensive about staying silent and there's something in the back of you that feels like you just want to be open about your truth, go to therapy, open up there. And if you feel like you want to open up more, then do it. Then just open up and do it. Because if you're afraid of what people might think, sometimes people have children. Honestly, if you have children, just know they are a blessing. I mean, I don't even know if I can have kids now because I waited so long and spent so much time with the wrong people, right? So there's that. But we all have our own burdens to bear, and children aren't burdens, okay? What the burden is trying to protect them from being hurt and or seeing, maybe it's their parent, or maybe it's someone at school, or maybe it's somebody in your family that is the abusive narcissist, and you're trying to protect them from being harmed. You can only do so much, but I highly recommend therapy because I'm no professional. And that really is kind of getting into areas where I haven't personally experienced. All I can tell you is everything that you do, if it aligns with your guidance system and it aligns with your core values, which you can find what those are. There's lots of stuff on Google. You can look up, like, a core value worksheet. They're free. You can see it on Google Images. Just circle what your core values are. A lot of times I like to go what my core values used to be versus what they are now, because they're very different now versus what they used to be. And also, you can go into like what your triggers are, and what used to trigger me versus what triggers me now is very different because I'm in different stages of healing and recovery. If you're in silence, just remember that you don't have to parade your laundry all around social media. I am doing this because I feel that it's natural for me as a performer. And I'm going to conclude that this is not a performance. This is actually the behind the scenes, ruthlessly honest, and quite embarrassing journey of mine that I'm here to say that I'm no big superstar, right? But I have been in the public eye my whole life, and I've always been told to hide this side of me. And I'm here to tell you that I see how damaging it is for people to think that they're alone and that they can't be truthful about abuse, no matter what kind of abuse it is. And I'm here to take a stand. I'm done staying silent. And if I can be an advocate and a friend of yours and help you feel a little bit less alone, then that makes me feel like I've done my job. And it also helps me heal into a higher level of healing that I wasn't at before when I was healing alone. So, again, I know that this is triggering for some people who love me, and it's been triggering for people who have trauma and they're not comfortable coming out in public and think that I'm doing this the wrong way. But I will tell you that I'm doing it my way. And if it works for you, great. If not, I don't know why you're still here. But again, people have been putting truth out there, and it's crazy how for centuries this is normal, but it's the few people that have the guts to come forward and speak that actually help change the world. And it's the people who feel heard by these messages that also change the world just by being themselves. And it's crazy how it was like always okay for me to be emotional and open on stage when I had a microphone right here, and when I'm writing songs and singing them, but suddenly it triggers certain people when I come out and just talk about it. And that's because this form of excuse me, this form of authenticity is foreign to them and makes them uncomfortable because of whatever they've been through in their life. And whatever triggers them is unhealed trauma, like I said in my last video. So, by the way, this was not easy for me to decide that I was going to do this. And it's helping me in ways. There are jagged edges and times when I don't feel good because I feel like it's chasing away people that I do love, even though these videos aren't even about them. But at the same time, I just have to trust my gut and my intuition. And I am doing what I always should have been doing, which is not just helping people and myself with art and music, but also coming straight to the camera and being authentic and talking about this so that we can stop normalizing abuse, especially narcissistic psychological abuse, which is literally the reason people have meltdowns, breakdowns, suicide, mass shootings, all kinds of things. It's really, really dangerous, you guys. We've got to get the mental health in check. And there she is. And you never know who falls back into your life, too, by the way, for being open and honest. I mean, I realized certain parts of my healing just recently and realized I wanted to reconnect with someone else and owed somebody from my past an apology. And I couldn't be more grateful to get to know them again in my life. And I have to own my behaviors, but it was just because I didn't realize certain things I was doing. And that person had already evolved to a different level. Okay. And I had to own that. And I'm very, very happy. And this person is someone that I love dearly. And I'm very excited to have back in my life. So, this is really a basket of miracles as long as you're able to see it. And if you're not there yet, I promise it's in there. You just got to hang with us. Truffles, do you want to sing? Sing. Can you say hello? Hello? Hello. Yeah. Hello. Say bye-bye. See you later. All right, you guys. We'll see you later. Have a great day.